it's very malleable. But how do you think about structuring your trade, and how do you decide what position size and risk you're going to take and all that?
Yeah, I think the most important piece of the trading strategy, once you try to once you have to actually execute on your thesis. So you have this thesis, you test the thesis, you're like, oh, it's meaningful, all the stuff. No
Right.
one knows about it yet, or most people don't know about it. Is you have to develop a trading window. So like the window all revolves around two things. Like we'll assume at this point you had discovered what I refer to as an information imbalance.
Right.
So like uh, you have the information other people don't. You want to try to assess at what point the market is likely to come across that information, and that's what I call the point of information dissemination,
Hmm.
or what I call it information parity, when everybody now has access to that information, right? So often it's easy because it's an earnings report, right? So you know it's going to be an earnings report. Other times it's not an earnings report. Other times it could be the release of a movie, like the Barbie movie was a huge trade for me for Mattel, right? So it's
Yep.
like I purchased options that were going to kind of expire right around the time that the movie came out, and I thought other people would appreciate how big that movie was going to be. And so you have to kind of figure out, okay, when will the rest of the world likely know about this thing?
Right.
And then yeah, often I do trade a blend of equity and options. I'm not like I used to be a big out of the money options guy. I'm not anymore because all you kids started trading options during the pandemic and drove up
Yep.
the price of premiums. And so like on out of the money, because half of y'all want to like make 100 times your money on a trade. And so
Yep.
that's what you're all doing. And those premiums are too expensive for me now. So I'm usually like at the money or slightly in the money. I don't do anything fancy or sophisticated as it relates to options or trading strategy. I don't even spend that much time thinking about it. I just basically buy the option in a time when I think people will likely to know about it. And what's really cool is like the last 5, 6, 7 years, when I talked about Wall Street utilizing transactional data so aggressively, like every fund is using it aggressively now. And the data's decent. It's not the best, but it's not bad either.
Hmm.
Usually, with this transaction data, Wall Street is eventually going to get an edge on when the actual full data gets released through an earnings report. So, a lot of times you'll see these stocks moving up or down in the week or 2 or 3 before earnings. That's because that's kind of when the transactional data starts to get processed, synthesized, traded on by big Wall Street funds. I love that. The reason why I love that is because now instead of having to buy an option that expires like the week after earnings, for example, which is super expensive because you
Yep.
have to pay for the
The
earnings
volatility.
premium.
Yep.
Now, a lot of times, I just kind of assume if it's a big thing that I identified, I'm going to assume that the rest of the world is going to kind of figure it out before earnings.